TNC once again not really thinking about their pick whatsoever. They go straight into the outworld. On the heads of the side of Geek Fam. Again, this draft from TNC does just look so darn strong already. Apart from that Will-O-Wisp and perhaps the DK stun, full advantage of those items. They do give Raven the DK instead. Won't have that Weaver, but I don't know if the DKs are much. Can still be pretty good, but you got to close the gap. Just in terms of laning stage as well, it does seem like TNC do have the advantage. You've got that Undying that pretty much always wins you the lane. OD doesn't really lose lanes, and Gyrocopter doesn't really lose them either. Interestingly, though, we do have a position 4 puck. KP will be playing the position 3 Vengeful Spirit. TNC experimenting a little bit with their draft. See how it all pans out. Of course, again, this is a best of 2 series. TNC looking to 2-0 if they possibly can. Geek Fam definitely want to try and tie this up. Can. We'll get into a game number 2.
Prepare for battle.
Interesting. Interesting.
TNC going into this the heavy favorites. They were the major winners after all. Geek Fam, it's a little unfortunate they had to verse TNC of all teams to start their day off, but that's how the cookie crumbled. Good to see that both teams are in high spirits though.
Whoops!
Get a little bit of banter coming out from either side.
30 seconds to battle.
Geek Fam setting up for the left side bounty. See if TNC does try to contest the one near the outpost. KP is starting to set up on the Venge.
The battle begins.
Looks like Raven should be able to go. In fact, no, KP does manage to snag it away from Raven. It will be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties anyway, though. Still not too big of a deal. Dubu does cop a fair bit of damage off the puck. It'll be okay. Of course, it's one of the positives about having the position 4 puck. Just, it hits so darn hard. Hard to lose the harass war between the supports if you are playing the puck. Does have the ring of Bassi there as well. Middle. Gonna be up against Ryoya. This should be a little bit easier for Ryoya, but then again, you've got the Astral Imprisonment that can just be spammed out from Armel. You won't really be able to get the full effect of the static link off. Armel, not really the kind of player to make a mistake with the Astral either. I doubt he'll use it too early and not have it for the static link usage. Bot lane, Gabby gonna be up against Cuckoo once again. Do see March as well, just chasing Zephyr down on the Rubik. Spamming away that decay.
You dare not.
He's already have 2 mangoes ready to go. Pop one. Let's continue this decay spam. Won't really be doing much though, as Raven top lane almost going down to Tim's on the puck. He will barely survive with a slither of HP, but he will salve up. He will survive another day. Dubu now going to be chased down by Tims. KP will be there as well. Tims just not going to give up on this. Orb will be there. Dubu, he should die, though Blinding Light will allow him to survive, just barely. He salves up, he gets the hell out of there. That's going to be 2 salves committed very early from the side of Geek Fam. And we saw this last game, TNC just applying so much pressure to the safe lane of Geek Fam. Not ever really allowing them to be comfortable in this lane. Looks like we are going to have a bit of a repeat of that. Back to the mid lane though, Ryoya. Doing pretty well in terms of last hits. 11 and 11. Really denying the hell out of Armel, who only has 4 and 2 on the OD. So far making this lane work quite well for himself. Armel, start with the Astral Spam once again. Ryoya does have the static though, and he will use it immediately. Armel loses quite a bit of damage. Ryoya gonna go straight back to last hitting and denying. This should mean a much slower game for Armel on this OD.
His middle tower is under attack.
On top though, looks like they are going to lose their Keeper of the Light. KP does end up finding him, so Dubu being the first blood for the side of TNC. And you saw TNC was just chasing down with those right clicks and does end up setting up the first blood. Meanwhile, bot lane though, Cuckoo going to end up chasing this gyrocopter. Gabby will end up surviving just fine, as March did have the Soul Rip to heal him up. Geek Fam certainly trying to apply the pressure back to the safe front of TNC. Gabby doesn't actually have a salve, he only has tangos available, so Kook is going to try and abuse this a bit. He will spot out a courier as well. March actually blocking the way for Gabby! Oh, March! He's going to try and go after the Abaddon, but now his life looks to be forfeit as Cuckoo does find him. A double kill for the Abaddon. And he will deny himself off to the T1 tower. But March giving them a freebie. Gabby will TP back straight away to get back to that farm. Bit of a miss play though coming out very early on from this safe lane of TNC.
Dire structures are fortified.
Invisibility.
Send.
Raven. Being a fair bit of harassment, but in terms of last hits, he's at the top of the board. Of course, with that Dragon Blood, just keep passively healing up. It's going to be a bit of a scuttle over those boundaries up at the top lane. Raven is going to be the target. Tim's going to continue chasing him down. It's Mana coming in from Dubu, but they aren't giving up quite yet. Raven so close to dying, but he's so darn tanking on this DK. One more right click would have done it, but he doesn't find it from the puck. So TNC at least force out the DK for a little bit, but won't quite find what they wanted. Meanwhile, mid Ryoya, again with the static link, being quite aggressive with that usage. And as such, has really shut down Armel on the OD. $7 and 18 on this Razor in comparison to the 16 and 5 on the OD right now. It's like Dubu is just getting to stacking for his team. Of course, when you're up against a Gyrocopter, you've got to be very careful not to allow those stacks to go the way of TNC. Zephyr gonna rotate in mid lane, but doesn't quite have the range to find Armel with the lift. Dubu will join as well on the keeper now. We do have a rotation from Tim's. He doesn't have the Dream Core yet. He's only level 3. But just with that Orb and Silence, he might just find Dubu. In fact, he jumps in for the Silence, ignores Dubu, and is going to go after Ryoya on the Razor instead. Still holding on to that Orb. Fadebolt will come out from Zephyr. Ryoya falling low and will not go down. The aphotic shot from Cuckoo just in the nick of time. And now he will try to turn it towards Tim's on the puck. And it looks like he will find the kill as well. Great there from Cuckoo, saving that mid Razor and finding a trade. Geek Fam happily backing out of there now. 2 to their way. 1k net worth lead as well going their way. And so far, at the very least, they have won the top and mid lane. Looks found a trusty shovel. That will be on Ryoya, I believe, on the Razor perhaps. In fact, he's given it to Dubu on the Keeper of the Light. The shovel is arguably one of the better items you can find in the jungle, especially if you find those bounty rooms. Dubu. Careful, he's getting very, very low. March won't be able to get the decay off.
Dire's top tower.
See Tim's here as well, trying to ensure that the side of Geek Fam can't freely farm this jungle. With all these stacks being taken, Ryoya is finding quite a few items for himself.
Bow to your lord.
Back down to the bot lane. Gabby farming pretty decently on the Gyrocopter. He was slightly behind though earlier on, so he's just trying to catch up. Cuckoo hasn't really left him alone on the Abaddon either. So KP is going to be the top of the net worth board on the bench. Does have the full Helm of Dom up. Does go ahead and take himself a Centaur Conqueror. Looks like both sides just going to be comfortable to farm for a bit. Royal Jelly going to be found by Armel. Gabby Gonna get caught out. Static Link will be there as well as the Plasma Field, but here come the rotations. Still, they found the Gyrocopter, but can TNC punish? Looks like the Tombstone was dropped. March trying to hold them down as long as possible. Now Ryoya gets stunned up, but still they're being controlled up here by Geek Fam. In fact, they might lose Armel on the OD, and they do. They'll lose March as well on the Undying. KP now gonna get chased down, but no, he swaps Tim's in. Tim's will orb away. KP may not be so lucky though. He will go down in the end. And Tim's, he didn't actually use the orb. He's just gonna try and make a run for it, but Zephyr is on his tail. They will leave him be, but that is a massive win for the side of Geek Fam, finding 4 heroes for the price of none. And they should be able to secure quite a few banner runes as well now.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
He's going to try and go for the steal. Does throw an orb out. Will not find it. Ryoya, he didn't actually orb back. Tim's! I think he may have used that orb a second too early. He had nothing to go back to, and Ryoya just finds a very, very easy pick-off as well as the bounty for himself. So 2-8 now. 3k net worth lead for Geek Fam. Gabby on the gyro, still desperately trying to get his farm up. Same goes for Armel, who was just shut down by Ryoya on the Razor. Geek Fam not looking to slow this down at any point. They've started taking over the Radiant side jungle now, trying to maintain map control. KP farm some Ancients, but Geek Fam are going to show themselves. Dragon Form goes straight up Puck now, and well, Tim's doesn't really have anywhere to go. He will try and orb away and does get away with it, but the neutrals will take him low enough that Raven's poison will tick him out. That is just so unfortunate. Meanwhile, March goes down and Cuckoo up at the top lane. And that's going to make it a 2-10 now at 11.5 minutes in. They are going to claim that T1 mid tower as well. The Dragon Form does take it quite easily.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Geek Fam.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
It's like a completely different team going into game 2. Just really getting all of it together and making it work. At least for now. Armel doing the best he can. Just so important that Armel and Gabby can get up and online as soon as possible going to this mid game. You see, they do have the stronger late game in the OD and the gyro regardless, but I don't see Geek Fam waiting that long if they do take control throughout the mid. KP gonna rotate in. March does end up going down up in the mid lane. Ryoya does find him by himself. The gank attempt though onto Raven will not work out. He just pops the drums and runs away. Zephyr is there now as well, and it looks like they are going to make a slight chase onto KP. He's going to walk out of there safely. And instead, they'll rotate up top. They'll see Gabby on the gyro. Tim's is there with the Dream Call though, so we do have to be a little bit wary of that, but Dubu has the Will-O-Wisp, doesn't drop it yet. We'll start off with the Blinding Light. Now Myth, he's going to be there onto the park. Tim's getting very low, and it looks like he is just dead. March, he popped the Golem, but is it even going to matter? Comes out from Dubu now, Blinding Light as well. Still, they've got control of this Undying, and March, he is just dead. Now the swap away. The buyback will come out from Tims. Do they still want to fight this? Raven, he gets swapped on top of the cliff. He's stuck there for a while. Cuckoo's going to chase Armel though. Ryoya finds Gabby on the gyrocopter. They are perhaps going to find the OD though. No Dream Call. Insanities does no damage. Dubu ends up finding KP. They're going to go for more now on the for the OD, and Armel has nowhere to go except down, and that is exactly where he goes. And with that, a T1 tower to be taken once again by the side of Geek Fam. Buybacks were there from TNC, or at the very least on Tims, but it just didn't matter. It just seems like they're way too far behind right now. With that Geek Fam, they still have Raven on top of that cliff. He's going to TP in 1 second, but they know he's there. Raven going to go for the TP now. Gabby didn't have the homing missile available to throw out. Cuckoo, while he's still around, does take the bounty and gets the outpost. He has borrowed time available. He should be perfectly fine here. In fact, they may try and turn this as Ryoya does rotate in on the Razor. They do go for the standing click on Gabby. Now the rotation from Zephyr on the Rubik, but Gabby looks like he's just dead. Ryoya does get stunned up by KP, but is it going to matter? It certainly will. Armel will find the Razor kill. The Geek Fam are going to be able to walk out of there. Can Dream Call and does do so. Still have the battle with the Photic Shield, but apparently it won't matter. TNC do surrender, do find the kill. And it looks like it will end up being a 2-for-1 trade for the side of TNC. Zephyr, nice little juke there on the Rubik, and will manage to get out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So although you lost Gabby on the gyro, it doesn't matter too much. You still found some very valuable kills on the side of Geek Fam. The Geek Fam do maintain a 7k net worth lead going into 16 minutes.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
TNC now perhaps ready to go. They're going to scout out Ryoya. Certainly not the easiest target. But Dream Call in 15 seconds. Armel
Dire's top tower is under attack.
going to be able to walk away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That should help.
Another Vampire Fangs being dropped. This time Raven picks it up on the DK. We do see a defusal coming out on Gabby now on the gyro. TNC slowly but surely clawing their way back into this game. Got some decent farm coming out on Armel and OD. Gabby is still fairly behind on the gyrocopter, but gyrocopters do tend to catch up pretty darn quickly.
Top tower is under attack.
Thing is though, you look at Zephyr on this support Rubik, he's got BOTs and Blink Dagger up now, so he can just be all over the map. So you could expect Geek Fam to start being even more aggressive.
My belly bursts.
Four staff being completed on Armel. Bit more mobility for this OD, a bit more of an escape mechanism coming out. Raven, very soon he will have the full BKB up. He does find himself another Grove Bow. Armel got to be a little bit careful here, but does have the help of the Undying around. Raven just gonna hide in the tree line for a bit. You will see rotations now coming in from Geek Fam though. They have smoked up. Looks like the setup is there from Raven. He stuns Armel straight away. March will pop the golem, but doesn't matter. The Will-O-Wisp will be there onto Armel, and it looks like he just goes down. Now they take an easy kill onto March, and there's really nobody else from TNC around the area. So Geek Fam may just start pushing in that bot tier 2 tower. TNC, they may even lose Tims, though he does AWP TP away. It looks like he will end up surviving. But a 4-19. Geek Fam just not letting off quite yet. Gabby, this is not where you want to be right now. Gonna spot out Dubu. There will be a TP in from Tims. Looks like Raven will manage to walk out of there safely. He has the 10-second BKB charge now available anyway, so I don't really see them being able to kill him off. To make matters worse, now the rest of Geek Fam are here and ready to go. KP want to scout him out, but we've got the magic missile, but there's Zephyr with the blink and lift. He does steal the magic missile as well, and it looks like they have found KP on the bench. Oh, but he is still surviving. Now the Dream Core comes in from Tims. Flak cannon from Gabby as well, doing a fair bit of damage, but not quite enough. Blinding light to fly out. Raven, he BKBs up as well. Zephyr, another stun, so he does find KP on the bench, and it looks like Gabby is just going to be surrounded. It's going to be a double kill coming out from Zephyr, and the rest of TNC just get the hell out of there. So far, not one team fight has really gone TNC's way. And mind you, they didn't have Armel there to help out. He understands, he just needs to keep farming up right now. There's no need for him to try and push the issue. But Geek Fam, they are not slowing down. Another smoke. They're gonna find Armel. This will be there just before the force stop, and now the blinding light. Static link to follow. Astral will delay things for just a bit, but Armel does appear to just be dead here, as he is surrounded once again by Geek Fam. They extend the lead to 10k now. In fact, we'll have a quick look at the Dota Plus probability, and it is at 97% the way Geek Fam.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Meanwhile, at top, Zephyr does get caught out by the Dream Core, but Tims, he needs more damage output. It looks like he will have Gabby with the help, and now the Dream Core's been stolen, but it doesn't matter. Zephyr will end up going down. But while all that's happening, Geek Fam happily go ahead and trade his life for a tier 2 mid tower. Still though, the fortification will protect the tower for now. Geek Fam, they will stick around in the Radiant side jungle at least for a little bit.
Regeneration. Haste.
It's like Gabby just trying to finish off that BKB on the gyro now. We'll go for the Aghanim Scepter after that. Geek Fam looking to perhaps smoke once again. That is exactly what they do. Who do they go for though? They are going to run through the east side jungle of the Radiant. They may run into KP on the vent. And yeah, they do. Zephyr immediately blinks and lifts. Raven is there with the follow-up stun, and there's just no help around for KP. And with that, an immediate transition into that tier 2. In fact, they may go for a tier 3 afterwards. You've got so much time on that dragon form left. And yeah, that's exactly what Geek Fam want to do. Straight into that high ground. There's no buyback available on KP. They're going to jump in straight onto March. That Undying is not going to sustain that much damage. And with that, it's a 3v5 situation. The Raxes now are exposed, and that's exactly what they go for. Geek Fam, 23 minutes, going to take a Rax. They know they jump in straight up to Tims as well, and the puck is gone. He does have buyback and does expend it, but The Rax is already gone. Geek Fam, are they going to keep going?
Has fallen.
It looks like they actually are. Straight into the secondary tier 3 of bot lane.
Is under attack.
Raven still holding up to that 9-second charge on his BKB. They'll take the tier 3. Dragon form is about to wear off, so they'll back out of there safely. That is just a huge win for this Dire side.
Radiant's bottom
There appears to be
shrine
no
is under
comeback in sight for the side of TNC yet. March will buy a
Radiant's
smoke
bottom
though.
shrine has fallen.
But perhaps this is the
Dire's
play they
top
need.
tower is under attack.
They won't smoke up quite yet. But they're just out on a dewarding mission.
Double damage!
Geek Fam setting up for that bot lane once again. Butterfly will be there now for Yo-Yo on the Razor. Just bring it out on the Courier. Raven does have that level 3 Dragon form. We'll start moving in. In fact, he goes straight after KP on the bench. Tombs to the eavesdrop, but look at that Will-O-Wisp. Just perfectly placed by Dubu. They'll find one in Gabby. KP goes down as well, and March is just a sitting duck. He's gone. This could just be GG. They'll buy back on March. But again, they don't have buybacks available on the Joan, nor do they have it on the bench. In fact, they jump straight back in on March and the Undying. BKB popped by Armel. He's going to have to try and man fight by himself. He does get into his fountain, but it's going to be a dieback on March, and the GG has been called in Geek Fam. They're going to go for a rampage. It will not work out. Dubu will steal it with the blinding light.
Radiant team pick.
Drow Ranger.
Choose your hero.
Drow instead, fair enough. So we've got a bit of a Drow strat going on here. Mostly just between the Drow and the Gyrocopter. The silence is still going to be very, very effective up against the Ember Spirit though, so you can definitely see the value in this Drow pick. The Droid's draft though does look relatively scary. One of the newer experimental drafts certainly, but does seem very, very hard to deal with. A lot of mobility, a lot of damage, a lot of disable just in the form of that Witch Doctor alone. The problem is with this Drow, you've got the catch there. I mean, the Ember Spirit can just get the Sleight of his chains off onto Alacrity. You've also got the hook there from Bok on the clock.
Remaining.
It does feel like this Drow is going to be a bit of a sitting duck throughout these team fights. We'll see how much work Drew can get done on the Gyrocopter. It's going to be more about how much farm he can get in the lanes and in the jungle. But if their lanes don't go well for the side of the Radiant, it does seem like a droid are just going to run all over them. We'll get into the game very, very soon and find out how all this pans out. Alright. Now we'll get into it. So, RR versus Droid, game number 1.
Prepare for
It does look like Alacrity is going to go for the mid Drow, which does seem to work okay up against Mac if he does go mid on the Ember, which he should. Looks like Boomy may take over the mid lane though on the Venomancer. I'm sure they'll just switch it up. Because Drew will be there on the safe lane as that Gyro. Nuts will be there to support on the AA. Still a very dangerous lane for them though. I mean, this clock, if he does get started, can be very hard to stop. Especially if you have Boomy there on the Venomancer.
Another triumph.
.30 seconds to battle.
Looks like RR really setting up to ensure they get these top bounties. Natsumi always has the spirit bear to get it for him. KYXY should be able to spot this out.
The battle begins.
But here comes CML as well. They really want to just pincer this Omni Knight. It looks like KYXY does manage to pick up the bounty though. It will be a 2-for-2 trade in the end. Another very even start between both teams. Mac will indeed rotate back into the mid lane as the Ember, so he's more than happy to go up against that Drow being played by Alacrity. I don't think he should really be able to shut Alacrity down very well. Not up until those later levels. Alacrity should be able to get some decent farm in this mid lane. Of course, top lane though, I can't say the same for KYXY. Like up against the lone druid, even the Witch Doctor himself, it's going to be very, very hard to get in range because of that. The Entangled is constantly going to be coming in from that Spirit Bear. KYXY. All he can do is run and hope for the best. Another entangle comes out for KYXY. Alacrity, meanwhile, does end up finding Mac's courier mid lane. So Mac losing his courier very early on, and that's going to be a massive loss for the Ember. Does really rely on bringing out multiple sources of regen out to continue to stay. Have that advantage to himself. He can happily just continue harassing out this Ember, understanding he won't have any regen to use. In fact, he just uses his salve now. He has one shared tango left. Meanwhile, Boomy looks like he's just gonna sit in the jungle and use Venom wards, just farm up these ancient stacks. This is quite a reliable and quick way of farming up on the Venomancer. So essentially, you're gonna have 4 cores on the side of a droid, while Bok just gonna stay in the bot lane. He won't find much farm, but he'll have all that self XP to himself. And as I say that, looks like Hustler will find another courier. This time Natsume's courier going down, so that's 2 gone for the side of a droid. CML will try to punish him, but I don't believe he'll get too much damage off onto the Sand King. He does have Burrow Strike just in case as well. Of course, mid lane, a bit of a magpie going on between Alacrity and Mac, though it looks like Mac will win out on that. He does find the first blood for the side of a droid. Alacrity, I'm not sure what he was doing in that position. Does end up losing his life to Mac. Of course, he will just TP straight back into the lane, but yeah, he has such an advantage with the courier going down. But now, Mac, he has his courier back, he finds first blood, and suddenly it looks like Mac's got all the advantage, though. Alacrity with the multi-shot. He's harassing out Mac. Looks like Natsume is still having a great old time up against KYXY. At the very least, KYXY is still sustaining. As the levels go up on this lone druid, it just gets more and more dangerous. Hustler will rejoin this top lane though. Meanwhile, Alacrity really dishing out the harassment towards Mac. In fact, there's the multi-shot, and he does find the kill.
Die alone.
Just barely Alacrity finds it. A nice pickup from the Drow. And it's not so often you used to see a Drow finding kills by herself, but apparently that's a thing now on the new patch. Mac not going to be too happy about that one. Back down to the bot lane, Drew. Pretty well on the Gyrocopter, 24 last hits, 9 denies. Of course, Bok not really able to shut him down on the clockwork. He only has about 7 and 7 himself. There's just not much he can do. He's just going to rely on getting all this XP for himself and trying to pursue these kills after the 10-minute mark. Of course, Boom is having a great old time though. Top of the last hits board, and he can just go on like this forever. Taking full advantage of those jungle items that can drop as well. And he's already at level 5. He's got a very, very fast level 6 timing. So, looks like Alacrity has rotated in. Although Bok will be okay. Nuts. Does he want to keep going? The cold feet is going to be there on Bok. It won't really matter though. They just want a bounty rune. They should be able to find the west side bounty as well. Both teams have just left it for now. But that should just be the gyros. Gonna be a pretty big concern here for a droid. I mean, the gyro and the drow are still farming very, very well. I mean, you could just rely on the fact that Boomy's already got a mech up, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, that was about 5 minutes in he got that mech. So perhaps now with that mechanism, you can start really pushing the issue down at this bot lane. RR are set up to defend. They've got 3 heroes down at the bot. Boomy dishing out the harassment towards Drew. Hustler only level 4 of the Sand King. Does have that level 2 Burrow Strike effect. They're going to jump in now. Bok, who are you going for? He goes straight after Nuts on the AA. Gets the comms off as well with Battery Assault. It will be a very, very easy kill. Hustler actually never threw out the Burrow Strike to try and help. Looks like he just held onto it just in case they went after the Gyrocopter. And with that, with all these Serpent Wards, or rather Veno Wards, you will be able to just get the tier 1 bot tower very easily. Hustler has no more Sandstorm. We'll have to be very careful about how he approaches this. Gets Melodited and Cast comes out. He's got a fair bit of damage, but he will go into the Sandstorm once again. Will be able to survive though. I can't say the same for Bok, who is in a lot of trouble right now. Alacrity will be there and Bok does go down. Meanwhile, Hustler does actually end up finding CML on the Witch Doctor. Boomy isn't really backing off yet. It seems like he does want to try and get this Sand King. Just waiting out that Sandstorm to expire. It does, but he won't be there for the Venomous Scale. In fact, he didn't even have it skilled up. Now Bok's courier goes down as Hustler. Gonna rotate in onto Boomy. Boomy now gonna find a boundary in there for absolutely no reason. He does cop a Burrow Strike though and does go down to Drew on the Gyrocopter. Top lane there will be another trade. KYXY going down now. Bok does fall relatively low on the clock, but he will be able to walk out of there safely. And so we have a 4-3 slight net worth lead for the side of a droid on the Dire. But essentially still a very, very even game. It's Mac now. Gonna meet up with Boomy. Give Boomy the Arcane Ring.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You've got more mana sustain now on that Venomancer. Mid lane Alacrity could be in trouble. Mac doesn't have chains yet though, so he doesn't really have a way to hold Alacrity down, but he does have CML in the back waiting to throw out that cask. CML does run in, but does also back off. Meanwhile, up the top, Natsuni going to be in trouble as they do loop around on the side of Ara. This lone droid is all by himself. That rocket flare coming out, but homing missile as well. And the call down, it will be more than enough though. Mac, he rotates in on the Ember. Who's he going for? He remnants straight towards Nuts. Doesn't have the chains, but may not even need it. In fact, he doesn't. The Flame Guard and right clicks will be enough. But now CML going to be chased down by Drew. Though Drew going to try and backpedal, which Mac has not done yet. He's still got that haste rune active. There's the Heavenly Grace. Drew will be safe. Bot lane, Ember, Hustler, gonna go after Bok. Bok has the Battery Assault and he's gonna continue to chase his Sand King, but it's in the Sandstorm. He does have mech though coming out from Boomy and he will survive. That'll make it a 5-5 now. The slight net worth lead does go the way of RR now. While all that was happening, the mid tier 1 was being pushed in by Alacrity on the Drow. Looks like Alacrity will rotate up top to try and help out Drew, who's in a lot of trouble. Nice silence as well as the multi-shot coming out. But Mac will sustain. In fact, a mango tree has been planted for the side of RR.
Blessings.
Alacrity.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Boundary Rinse
attack.
doesn't get the silence off in time. A nice dodge there by Mac. Would at least get the outpost. But the Dire side, they will be able to find the west side outpost being taken by Bok.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Looks like CML though, gonna be going down. Throws out the cask and he's still alive throughout all this, but KYXY is not leaving him alone. Meanwhile, Mac jumping in, but he jumped into 3 of them. He tries to remnant out. It looks like he will do so for now, but KYXY, he does not want to continue the chase. They will leave them be. Somehow CML managed to survive all that. Mac will just get straight back to farming. Alright. You can tell they're really trying to push the issue early on with this Drow, but hasn't really been working out for them. Still top lane. KYXY, Ice Blast gonna come out. He does take it. Bok is there as well with the Ice Blast passive, but Nuts gonna go down regardless. KYXY could not help out. Too low on HP, had no mana, just need to get the hell out of there. Still this Drow just farming so darn well. Closely
Radiant's
followed by the
top tower is
Venomancer,
under
but
attack.
the Drow does certainly seem a lot scarier. Still though, Adroit don't seem too phased by any of this. Hustler, Burrow strike into the Sandstorm on Mac. Mac will be able to get out of there safely though. Even finding himself a trusty shovel now. The Droid, they have smoked up. Straight towards that mid lane. Boomy is almost just trying to bait in the side of RR, but nobody's taking the bait. But I say that KYXY does run back in, but he has Heavenly Grace available. Now Drew though runs in, but this is not what he wanted. Matt, can you hold him down? Not quite, but a beautiful hookshot coming out from Bok, just holding Drew down. Still the Rocket Flare will take him out. Now the Burrow Strike as well. Mac just trying to control up this Gyrocopter, but Mac is falling low and he does go. Hustler, he'll be the trade there from Natsumi. It's a 2-for-1 trade, and Reality Ripper is certainly going to be happy about that one. In fact, they may find the Veno though. Alacrity, got to be so careful as Natsumi runs in. Where's the Entangle? Heavenly Grace comes out, Alacrity still running away. Natsumi making the chase. Won't quite find it. They will find that tier 1 mid tower.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under
Fire Strike though, Hustler gonna try and slow this down, but he gets stunsed up. Ice Blast is gonna be pretty darn nice from Nuts, but there won't be any follow-up to it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
It will
attack.
at least force back the side of the Droid. And RR certainly don't want to allow that T1 mid tower to go down that quickly, as it does open up the map quite a lot for the side of a Droid. Back. Saying hello to Drew. Drew has some friends coming up in the smoke.
Double damage.
Matt got to be careful not to get hit by that gun of Alacrity. You spot him out. Drums being popped. There's the Burrow into the Ice Block and the Silence as well, and that is definitely a dead Mac. In fact, they even take the broom handle away from the Ember.
I'll take that.
Dire's
Give
middle
that
tower is under
to
attack.
Alacrity, it looks like.
Dire's
With that, the T1 top tower going to be taken down as well.
Dire's
Alright,
is under
certainly
attack.
making the plays for themselves. Certainly still is a very, very even game between these two.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Look at that top tier 1. Droid. It's the setup for that mid tier 1 once again.
I'll dig that.
RR going to be the ones to push in that mid tier 1 themselves.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Will be set up behind the trees. Droid, can you really defend this? Bok, he's going to run in straight with the Kongs, but there's the Gust coming out. Droid has as well as the cooldown. Epicenter not really doing much either, but they have found the Venom Boomy. He goes down. Now Mac still chasing after Drew, but he has the Guardian Angel there. Bok is falling very, very low. Mac, he'll go ahead and take down KYXY on the Omni. So 1-for-2 trade to the side of RR. Hustler does manage to survive on the Sand King. They do find that T1 tower as well, and it looks like they are very happy with that.
Haste.
Still though, there is a lot of pressure being applied down bot. Natsumi going to be able to find a free T2 tower. There will be absolutely no contestation for that. So you could argue Adroit are going to be okay with that trade. Still, they definitely want that mid T1 for themselves. Van Brace on Alacrity, just so much value in terms of stats. Now Adroit move their way up top. Nuts. We'll give vision for a second, but unfortunately that was right underneath the sentry ward. Observer does go down. Still, Adroit are completely aware that they're there, but it looks like they aren't interested in taking the team fight quite yet. The Implore is there on Mac as well. That's a great item on this Ember. Just getting that first hit crit never hurts on an Ember Spirit of all things. They will jump in, and it looks like RR will go straight after CML, and the Witch Doctor easily going down. Hustler with the Burrow and the Rocket Flare is there from Drew, and it looks like that'll be the end of that. Excuse me, the Rocket Barrage, I should say. Well, bot, Natsumi. After KYXY, but so the Omni should be perfectly fine. There's no help around here for Natsumi to really be able to take this guy out, but he does get the entangle. There's the Heavenly Grace coming out. Still, Natsumi does have help coming in to the outpost. In fact, Mac does loop around from the river, and KYXY now certainly not wanting to remain any longer. Just going to try and outrun the side of Adroit, and does do so successfully. Burrow Strike is going to be there from Hustler. Ice Blast just in case. The Roshan almost kill away. But Drew will find it with that Rocket Barrage. And with that, they loop around straight towards that top lane. They want that T2 tower, or at least to apply some pressure. Center, straight onto Matt, though it was cancelled off early on. He didn't actually get the FB off. The Hustler now, well, he's trapped up in the cogs, and that's a lot of damage coming up though. Guardian Angel will be there from KYXY. Drew with the cooldown as well, finding Bok, and they do find Mac on the Ember as well. Now the Ice Blast, CML, is he going to take it? It's not even necessary. Drew finds the kill with the Barrage, and with that, they find a Spirit Bear as well. That's going to be 300 gold to Alacrity on the Trell. And so a 3-for-0 trade. Hustler's Epicenter, unfortunately being cancelled off a little early. It just didn't matter though. Still found the kills. That also allows Drew now to have that Aghanim Scepter up on the Gyrocopter. So you got a lot more damage output from him. And RR, they take the outpost and they go straight back up top.
I deserve this.
Obviously Adroit not really expecting this to happen. Boomy just going to try and outrun the homing missile. It looks like he should be alright.
Price is nice.
We also see Natsumi does have the Radiance up on the Spirit Bear now. Should help the cause of Adroit quite a bit. It just seems like once that Guardian Angel comes in, it's just so hard to deal with RRs. They just running at you.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Bok has been struggling quite a bit on this clock. You don't really snowball as a clock. It is hard to maintain the plays throughout a game, and it is getting later on where this clock is just going to drop off. And the hook shot's always going to be useful, but it doesn't really have any survivability after that. Droid, are you going to smoke? Yep, they will. So we'll see Mac. He does pick up the Maelstrom now on the Ember. So you've got that added damage output. It looks like they are going to go after Drew on the Gyro. In fact, a nice hook shot is there from Bok. They trap him up, but the Ice Blast will fly in straight from behind Drew. He's somehow still alive. The Entangle comes in just in the nick of time. And with that, it looks like Mac wants to go for more, but he's copying a fair bit of damage. He gets 4 stuffed out of there. And RR, even though they've lost their Gyro, it almost looks like they wanted to keep going. By XY now, being controlled. Venomous Gale will come out though. 9 Burst Strike coming from Hustler. The Silence as well onto 2. They will get Mac surely on the Ember though. No, the Mischance was there and it does affect it though. Hustler still finds him with the Sandstorm. Bok even going down to KYXY on the Omni. And so a 1-2 trade once again for RR.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
3k net worth lead now for this Radiant side. Droid just seemingly not able to find their footing in this game. Natsumi is still building up quite a bit on his Spirit Bear, but it just seems like his Spirit Bear goes down so darn quick. You see Boomy going for an Agony Scepter as well, but still quite a while though. Top lane, Nuts goes down. 2 Bok on the clock.
Polish my armor.
Nice little pick up there from the clock. RR. Rotators 3.
Dire are scanning.
They may make a play for Mac, though he is quite far away from the side of RR. He will remnant out anyway towards his own shrine.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Natsumi just trying to rat out that mid-tier 1, but Hustler is there immediately to defend. Nuts doesn't cop the chains. Rocket Flare will connect, but not quite on the AA. There is still Boomy looping around from behind though. He could go for a quick kill and TP out. Looks like he will attempt it, but just drops a ward. That'll be the end of that. Hustler was there just in case. Still trying to go after that tier 1 mid tower, and Boomy should be able to find it though. MP center from Hustler. He gets the blink into the Burrow Strike into the Ice Blast, and Boomy will survive for now. The 4 stuff was just in time. Immediately TP's out of there. Top lane meanwhile, Mac trying to find where this Gyrocopter's gone. Alacrity looking to manfight regardless. Boomy will TP as the Veno, but it looks like a Droid just want to get the hell out of here. As RR aren't backing off, they're moving forward, they're trying to find a target. Mac would be a very nice one, but there's just no way to lock him down unless you hit that silence. In fact, never mind, the Burrow Strike will be there, but now the hook. Bok make sure they can't follow up. Still, Bok should lose his own life, and in fact, they found Hustler on the Sand King. Now the Ice Blast flying through. They will find the clockwork. That's all they found so far. Now there'll be a buyback coming up from Bok. The Spirit Bear does go down, but there's the Entangle coming out on the Omni. Still Guardian Angel coming out as well. CML, where's your Paralyzing Cast? It's on cooldown. KYXY thinking about turning turning around, but he's got teammates around him. They focus their attention on Drew instead, and he goes down. KYXY now, the cast comes out. Boomy does go down to Alacrity, but it doesn't matter as KYXY will lose his own life, and Nuts barely manages to TP out of there. It's a 1-for-3 trade. To be fair, there was a buyback being expended by Bot, but Adroit desperately needed a team fight like that. That was a lot of golden XP going the way of the buy side. And with that team fight, they do find a T1 tower to boot.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So Adroit finding some stable ground to stand on. Got Mac there now with the double damage bottled up, so they may opt to go for another smoke attempt. Certainly feels like a good time for it. Boomy actually just forgets about the active scepter. Just to go into a solar crest instead. There's Craggy Coat picked up by CML now. Give that over to Bok, it looks like. So you've got that added armor. Bok gonna be just a little bit tanky with that 13 armor now on the Clockwork.
And it's off.
Farm has certainly slowed down the side of RR. They'll get the BKB up on the gyrocopter though, so Drew's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable to just man up in these team fights. More stuff as well on Alacrity now in the Drought. Natsumi just gonna TP it out. There's no way to cancel it off, and he will get out of there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
From blaze to inferno.
Looks like Boomy just gonna force in that bot lane, try to get the side of RR back down to defend. Though RR, they smoke up, and it looks like it's gonna be straight to the Roshan pit. It should be kind of obvious to the side of Adroit, as nobody's defending that bot lane, but it's going down so darn quickly that they may not have a chance to contest this. And yeah, RR, just a free Roshan for them. The rocket flare finally comes out to scout it out, but it's all too late.
Healing shock.
Got the third eye out. Alacrity giving it away to Nuts. Be very useful to Nuts, especially for his dewarding. It's giving that extra vision. Alright, smoke up, they're going to go down towards the bot lane where Boomy does show himself on the Venom. It should be a very, very easy pick-off for the side of RR. They do get the Burrow Strike off. Rocket Barrage is there, and he has no way out. In fact, he does commit the Poison Nova. There'll be no follow-up to it, though, and of course, everyone on the side of RR will survive it quite easily. The Radiant directly go towards that outpost and go ahead and take it themselves. Like Adroit will just go ahead and trade for the other.
Dire's bottom tower
And
is
Adroit,
under attack.
well, there'll be no response to that. Instead, RR will go ahead and take that tier 1 bot tower. Fortification will be forced, but Alacrity can just stand out of the tower range with that Hurricane
Dire's
Pike.
bottom tower has fallen.
And with that, they just keep going.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Looks like RR are happy to trade with Adroit. But do take that top tier 2 very, very quickly with that Spirit Bear.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's structures are fortified.
Healing shock.
But Reality Rift will do the exact same.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They'll go for a tier 3. Droid. Ready to defend though.
Radiant's top tower.
Gus will
is
not
under
connect
attack.
onto Mac, and that'll be the end of that.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Meanwhile, pot lane, a bit more ratting going on. The Spirit Bear almost taking down that tier 3 tower. Drew will be there to defend, but she's just always going to be afraid of that lone draw. So bot lane, Hustler, going to get caught out. They do punish just a bit. In fact, I say a bit, but that T3 copped a lot of damage from the side of a droid. In fact, KYXY now going to get caught out. Bok doesn't have the cogs to use yet, but he has a lot of teammates coming in. Now with the cogs, KYXY, he needs some help coming in. The Sand King will buy back throughout all this, but a droid do just happily back out of there. And they'll even get the Spirit Bear out safely.
Is under attack.
And they've left the top tower once again. Hustler will be there in time to protect it. It will survive another day. Remarkably enough though, still only less than 1k the way of a droid in terms of net worth advantage. Looking at Dota Plus, RR still have a massive advantage, 82% their way, even though I don't believe they've taken a tier 3 tower yet. They've lost one of their own, or almost lost one of their own.
Regeneration! Boom! There it goes!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's like RR gonna happily take a tier in mid. So nice chains comes out from Mac to set up. Now see him going in with the cast. RR though, just standing the ground, not backing off yet. Hookshot is gonna be there from Bok. He's trying to look for a cogs, but he doesn't find the one he wanted. He wanted to separate that gyro from KYXY. Wasn't successful in doing so though.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now Alacrity just happily going to go ahead and take down that tier 2 top tower. His team is going to be there to back him out in just a second. And a droid, they're just kind of forced to hold their high ground now.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Reality Rift though won't force the issue quite yet.
Bites from above. Healing and harm.
It just will expire on Drew as well. So a bit of an opening now for a droid. The Radiant do not seem phased, holding the high ground of that dire jungle. Rocket Flare though will give vision
Dire's
of this
top
Radiant
tower
side.
is under attack.
Flares here!
Invisibility.
RR still sticking around. I mean, they're being scouted out, but they just don't seem to mind whatsoever. Bok looking to hook in, but not quite yet. It's hard. Like goes in for the burrow first. Now the Ice Bot's actually perfectly positioned, but it doesn't seem to connect on the tail end. And now the side of the droid moving in, trying to go after the supports in the backlog. And Nuts will be the first target, though KYXY falling low, but does get the Spirit Bearer as well. It looks like CML will go down, as well as Bok on the clock. Boomy throws out the Poison Nova, but only connects on Alacrity.
Healing
So it's a 1-for-2 trade. There will be a buyback from CML on a droid,
Radiant's
but
bottom
RR
tower
certainly
is
come
under
out on top once again.
Gold for me.
They might even find this Venom booming. He's not expecting this. Hustler is there with the Burrow Strike, and it's going to be another easy kill. Although I say that, Force Staff will be there. Homing Missile is there to follow the Hustler. Will have Burrow Strike in just a second, but may not even need it, as the Homing Missile will take him out. 4k net worth lead now remaining for RR. Droid still struggling. They have the Aghanim Septum now up on Mac, but how much of a difference is it going to make? Looks like the team's just going to go ahead and secure an outpost each.
Purify.
Well, the Radiant side will start forcing in that mid lane. The bot lane, or rather the top lane, is being pushed in once again. Alright, won't risk anything. Hustler will go ahead and clear out the creep wave.
For justice.
This does buy Adroit at least a little bit of time to try and get some more farm up.
Illusion.
Alacrity looks like he's going to go into a Satanic up next. You see the Aghanim Scepter now coming out onto Natsumi, so you do have the ability for the Spirit Bear to actually just roam around and get work done by himself. So more wrap potential for the side of Adroit. Again, outposts being traded by both sides. Roshan being scattered out by the Rocket Flare, but it won't be up for another minute and 5 seconds. Still are in position to go for that Roshan first. The droid aren't making their way up. They understand they can't really afford to give another Aegis away.
Invisibility.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's courier has been killed.
Looks like Nuts Courier gets caught out, though. Hook shot is there from Bok. He goes straight after Hustler, but he has no backup. In fact, Hustler just jumps back with the Burrow Strike. Now they'll focus their attention onto Alacrity, but he BKBs up. Mac, who are you going for? He's trying after Nuts and should be able to find the AA, but doesn't. Mac actually goes down to Alacrity. There's just way too much damage coming out from the Drow. Meanwhile, though, up at the top lane, Natsumi did find a melee barracks and he's going to find the range as well. And he should be able to get the Spirit Bearer out, though no, it looks like Drew will be able to grab it just beforehand. Still, you lost your Ember, you found the top racks. I think Adroit will be very satisfied with that. And the Roshan is now officially up.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack. Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
CML. Gust will not stop the TP. Hustler did end up finding Boom, though, on the Venomancer. And now RR. Straight into that Roshan pit. Drow Ranger hits so darn hard. It's not going to take very long for this Roche to go down, and it looks like the side of Adroit will not be there to counter this. There will be a rock flare. Bok, are you going to try and hook in? He has the vision. Hook shot will not be there in time. They've left the cheese behind though. Bok, he will at least manage to grab the cheese, but it looks like it is going to cost him his life. Ice Blast will be there, and Alacrity will clean up with the multi-shot. While that was happening, though, bot lane, the tier 3 goes down. Once again, Natsumi was just taking that tier 3 while the Roshan was being taken by the side of RR. The Spirit Bear just hits so darn quick, it's just way too hard to stop it with just the Burrow Strike off the Sand King.
Where's my passion?
RR though, still going to be pretty happy. I mean, they didn't get the cheese, but they got the Aegis, and that's the main cause of concern for Adroit. Mid lane, RR setting up once again. destroyed. Already set up to defend. BKB will be popped by Alacrity very early on. In fact, that was not Headline, that was actually the Minotaur Horn. Cog hooks in with the Cog. Won't find anybody.
Radiant's
So
bottom
Alacrity essentially has a way to bait out the side of a droid with that horn. But look at Natsumi once again with this Spirit Bear, just roaming around the Radiant side jungle. He does find the range barracks. The melee barracks does still stand down the bot lane, but he's making so much work happen with this lone druid. Should be able to kill it off at the very least. Meanwhile, bot does end up finding Nuts. Natsumi's Spirit Bear, does it get out? Surely not. They have the Frost Arrows, they have the Gust, they have the follow-up Burrow Strike. That is a tanky bear, but it will not survive.
Players here.
He's still trying to get that Satanic up, but he just needs the Reaver. Well, Mac still trying to get that Shiver's Guard up on the Ember Spirit. He's going to be the one holding the cheese as well. Pop the double damage. Are they going to try and make a play at the Druid? Looks like they will not. Mac will just use it to farm up that creep wave. Another Spell Prism being picked up by Alacrity. Both teams just seem satisfied to continue farming. There isn't much of a net worth lead for either side. RR, they only have a 1k lead for themselves right now. It's just so hard for RR to actually make any sort of play, because every time they try to, Natsumi ends up just taking another Rax for the team. Look at those Spirit Bear items. He does take towers quite quick, although bot lane looks like they have found out Boomy on the Venom, and the Ice Blast should take care of it. In fact, Drew will find a kill on the Gyrocopter. Look at that Spirit Bear, just smoked up, running by himself towards that base. That ninja gear actually allowing him to continue smoking up, and he'll just go straight after the melee barracks by himself. Well, Alacrity does come in and should be able to clean up the Spirit Bear, but can't actually man-fight if it gets too close. Hustler will be there with the Burrow Strike in control though. The Spirit Bear should eventually go down. Though I say that Hustler does still have to be careful, but it does go. Still, with that ninja gear, he can just keep doing this over and over again.
Radiant's top structure is under attack.
Nuts. Looks like he will be alright. The hookshot will be there from Bok. He does manage to get away.
Never refuse gold given.
So this farming game doesn't seem to be suiting RR whatsoever.
Shaved in searing heat.
Gotten to the point now where Mac does have enough to finish off that Shiver's Guard. He will TP back towards his base for now to defend up against Alacrity. Tier 3 tower slowly but surely going down. fortify up.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Meanwhile, the bear, once again, Natsumi is just ratting out the tier 2 mid tower, and now they don't know whether they should keep going or just run away. Alacrity looks like he did actually probably drill BKB, and now Mac jumps in, but he's going to get the hell out of there. Bok falling quite low. He's blade mailed up, but it doesn't really matter as Bok appears to be going down. But he will be the only loss for the side of Adroit. Meanwhile, Hustler just forced to stay back towards the fountain because of this dude. And we see a Divine Rapier coming out on now the Gyrocopter. So he's had enough of this game. He can't play these games anymore with Natsumi. So Divine is out. It does give you the True Strike now as well. So there is a lot more value to it. Up a fair bit of damage, still the tier 3 going. Down Mac, he'll Remnant out as well. Ice Blast will at least go through Mac. Now the buyback from Bok. They want to try and protect this Rax. They will lose the mid though. Now the stun will go out onto Lumin. He gets 4-star forward. Boomy, he's gone. He'll buy back as well immediately, but CML's copping so much damage. Drew is just ripping them apart right now on this Gyrocopter. Mac, he's falling low as well. He'll go 4-star down. And it looks like Drew has had enough. He wants to get out now. They came what they came for. They got what they came for, I should say. Although Mac jumps back in. BKB pop, but look at the damage coming out from Drew. He can't sustain it. He tries to run it out and does manage to get away successfully, but Drew will just go straight after CML on the Witch Doctor. And that's going to be a dieback on CML. Drew, do you stick around? Definitely not. But look what's happening in the mid lane. There's almost mega creeps up now. Natsumi, he is going to be able to find them. So now you have megas. Adroit, I mean, the heroes of Adroit have literally not entered the Radiant base. It's just been the Spirit Bear. And with that, RR realizing it's not a good time to back off, just go for that tier 4, go for the Ancients. That's exactly what they do. Drew gets started on one of the tier 4s though. Bok, he does hook in. Blade mail up, just trying to get out of there. But strike control is there from Hustler as well as the Ice Blast. They found both. Now they'll go for the secondary tier 4 tower. Where's the defense? They're trying to base race, but Natsumi's Spirit Bear is all on its own. Still, can they control the side of Reality Rift? Quite. They